On a church door here in Denver that's getting worldwide attention this morning. You see it there in the photograph. It was left by State Senator Mike Johnston. He got up in the middle of the night to leave that note on the door at the Shorter AME Church, a sister church to the one in South Carolina, where 9 people had been murdered just a few hours prior. And this is some of what was in that letter. Senator Johnston saying, "I want you to know I stand arm in arm with you today in your grief. I refuse to let one deranged man speak for me. And I also refuse to stay silent after this abomination." Well, State Senator Johnston kind enough to join us here this morning. And I have to talk about how this felt, because obviously you heard about the shootings. It took place about 7 p.m. our time. And then about 1 in the morning, you decided you had to do something?
Yeah, no, I think I, like the rest of America, just didn't feel like I could go to bed that night. There was just a gnawing sense that you hated for the world to wake up and feel like this is what they were going to face. And so not being able to sleep, I decided to stay up. And I thought of my friend, Reverend Tyler, who I knew was the pastor at Shorter AME, and I knew was close with Reverend Pickney in South Carolina, and thought I want him to make sure the first thing he sees in the morning when he wakes up is to know that the folks in his community, and particularly the white folks in his community, are deeply supportive and deeply grateful for the work that he does.
How long did it take you to write that letter?
It was probably an hour in the middle of the night, and then some time to drive it over and tape it there to make sure he'd get it.
You posted it on Facebook, and Dr. Tyler saw it. He was over there early too. He said he got it about 4 in the morning.
He was. I talked to him last night, and he also was still awake, so he saw my Facebook post, and he travels a lot, so I didn't know where he was. So I was hoping if I missed him in person, I would at least get him electronically, and I think that got back him up, and he went to pick it up in the middle of the night as well. So I was glad it provided him a little bit of peace as he got ready for a long day.
Well, the story resonated throughout the country, of course, but also resonating through AME churches. And it's about a lot of things, and for many it's about race, and it's about racial relations. And you, in the letter, refer to your role as a white man and how sometimes these roles are reversed.
That's right. I think so often we wait for communities of color to raise the conversation of race. And I think in this case, it's really obvious that it's our responsibility to have this hard conversation. You know, in Northeast Denver, we are cursed with many gang shootings. And every time we have a gang killing, we do a very deep investigation into what are the preconditions that make this possible. Even though there are thousands of young people doing what they should, if there are some that aren't, what can we do to change it? I think in an episode like this, we have to have the same conversation with the broader white community. Maybe a small number of incidents, but what are we doing as a culture to allow this to grow and continue, and what can we do to stop it?
Well, your letter, the act of writing it and leaving it there, also has gotten a lot of attention. What kind of feedback are you getting, both via social media and, of course, your role as a state senator?
You know, it's been amazing to see just this morning folks in Nashville or in New Orleans or in North Carolina or New Haven who are also just taking the time to stop by their local AME churches, give people a hug, drop them a note, tell them how thankful they are, let them know they stand with them. And I'm hoping that in these days of grieving, that will make a big difference in terms of keeping this event from pulling the country apart, and hopefully help us in small ways drive us back together.
You grew up around politics, but your career really was as an educator before you moved into politics. Obviously, these are horrible events, but they also do have educational value in some ways, don't they?
They do, and I think it gives the community an amazing chance to come together. I mean, the peace vigil at Shorter last night was unlike anything I've ever seen before in terms of folks from every faith background, every ethnic background. Yeah, as a teacher or principal, when something tragic like this happens, you bring the whole family together and you try to talk through how you make sense of it. I think our community now is in that stage to make sense of it, and our hope is, as Dr. King said at the eulogy for the 4 girls in Birmingham, you know, you can wring real good out of evil sometimes, and I think there may be real good that comes out of this one.
State Senator Mike Johnston getting up early and joining us this morning. We appreciate so much your time this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Being with us. Kim?
All right, thank you, Tom. Still ahead on Daybreak this morning, a Colorado man hit by lightning. We're going to tell you what he says saved his life.